Chafing Armor Podcast, Episode 32, Reunited, and it feels so good. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and perfectly punctual podcaster, Michael Corley, and with me tonight is Dare. Dare, tell me one thing about your real life in-person role-playing game that you play.
I play this game where I have two sets of dice to roll with, and then I play a game on Saturday nights with a group of people in real life where I have 6 sets of dice. And all the people around me have even more dice than that.
And he's not kidding, folks. He's shared a picture of these dice, and it's more polyhexagonal dice than I have ever seen in my entire life. It's insane. I love it. Also with us tonight is Izzy. Izzy, tell me one thing about your real-life campaign that you are playing with your...
The one is set in a town called Thottingham.
Thottingham. I'll make sure and rip off Thottingham for Chafing Armor.
Can't say that on the air.
No, you can't. And also with us tonight is James. James, please tell me something about your real-life campaign.
Hello! Right now I'm in one campaign, which unfortunately we only play about it once a month right now because life, but I'm an 8th level fighter in a 5e campaign and having a good time with that. Whack all kinds of things.
I do love those 5e campaigns with all those fancy feats.
I love thwacking.
Yeah.
That sounded way weirder than I'm
Yeah.
Someday, that's okay. Someday I'm hoping to get the feat that allows me to eat Tide Pods.
But, this is going to be posted like 3 months after we recorded it, so it's not going to be funny anymore.
You stole it right out of my mouth. By the time this airs, that will already be an ancient and dusty meme.
It's already going to be on Facebook.
One would hope it's an ancient and dusty meme, and not a current practice by some less than high-rolling orc with low intelligence.
Let us begin. The reason that our wonderful band of adventurers were on the water in the first place, you had been told by the princess in a vision from the broken staff of Seraphim that the only person who could tell you how to put it back together was the Witch of the Lowlands. And one of your team, Penzin, had actually met her many months ago when you went on a great adventuring band led by the great heroes of Beltrain, along with the princess, to retrieve the Staff of Seraphim, because only one of royal blood from the kingdom of Beltrain can wield the staff safely, or so it was said. But that apparently is not the case, because after an epic battle where you guys took down a hag, ending with Penton actually golf clubbing her to death with his staff. Oh, beautiful. You looked up to see the final hag, a moss hag with dark green skin and mossy branch-like hair, flying above you, cackling madly, and she was holding the fully formed together Staff of Seraphim. So, what would y'all like to do?
I will get out my M16 and shoot her out of the sky.
I think Osukai is a ranged weapon, right? Do your thing.
I was thinking more run for cover, personally.
It's not a bad idea. It's entirely up to y'all what you would like to try to do at this point.
But that's not a Morezi idea.
No, that is not generally the barbarian way.
Right. I'm actually going to get out my light crossbow, and is she within 80 feet?
She is. She's right on the edge of 80 feet. I would like you to also... Everybody, I would like you all to make a perception check.
Yes, with my dice.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Penton, what did you get?
Nothing of note.
And
yeah, that's a 2.
That is a modified 16.
Hey, somebody's paying attention.
6.
Yeah.
Okay, so You're reaching to pull out that crossbow, and you're ready for action. You're like, you know what? I'm going down fighting. You notice a couple of things. One of the things you notice as you're beating in to take aim on her is you see out of the corner of your eye Spree, the Selkie, who is missing her skin, her Selkie skin, is weeping copiously. She's crying. You also notice something else as you're taking aim at this hag, is that she is wearing a sort of cloak that looks an awful lot like what might be a Selkie skin.
Oh, no.
She, by the way, just for clarity, Spree told you that the sea hag had her skin, but either she was lying or was forced to lie or was just wrong.
Maybe they made a trade.
Right, exactly, or they traded it out. You don't know exactly what's going on. The other thing that I want to let you know, there is something crashing through the underbrush. Y'all are at the crater at the center of this island from the extinct volcano, but there is a forest all around you, and something is crashing through the woods. Just wanted to let you know all that, but would you like to go ahead and take a shot at her?
I would like to take a shot at her.
You don't need to roll for initiative. Just go ahead and give that roll.
Here we go. That is a 15.
A 15. A 15, either from magical means, for the fact that she has a completed staff that is supposed to be one of the most powerful objects on the material plane, or that she just has a high dex while flying about. She just kind of moves to the side and the crossbow bolt goes past her. And she laughs and laughs and laughs. You hear Spree saying over and over again, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
And she looks to you, Penton, and she says, she made me do it. She made me do it. I didn't have a choice.
What did she make you do?
Well, she made me take the staff from you. And you think back to when she completely healed all of you, and you were surrounded by sand, and it was a gently abrading sand that, I don't know, might obscure if, say, something was being removed from your robes. You don't know for certain if that's what would happen, but you think that's probably pretty likely.
Great.
How does non-lethal damage work?
Say non-lethal.
Yes, you just have to say it, and not all things are non-lethal. Like an arrow can't be non-lethal.
Right. But you can use a flat of a blade
I feel like non-lethally punching this chick.
You can certainly do so if you wish. It will hurt her quite a bit.
I'm gonna, punch her in the arm, so let's just not roll for that. Just say that I'm very, very angry.
Yeah, you can non-lethally smack her.
Yes.
Without rolling for damage. She is not going to fight you. At this time, also, someone comes bursting through the forest. And as they come bursting through the forest, it is Pharaoh. Y'all might have forgotten about him, but he is the supposedly thief who you rescued from the pirate ship.
Ah, yes.
He had stayed by the boat because he was in such a weakened state. He was just going to stay by the boat, and he was armed with what was effectively like a butcher's knife and a carving knife. So not the best thing in the world, but he seems to have made good work with it because he is covered in blood.
Oh my.
You can't tell if it's his or not, and he says, hey guys, a lot of them shark guys coming up here.
Oh boy.
More shark guys. Great.
We'd best find. Yeah.
I know he's not here yet, but I think Osokai is having a heart attack right now.
Well, it wasn't the shark guys that killed him. It was a literal zombie shark.
My bad. My bad.
That came. Well, you weren't there, and it came gleaming magnificently through. It bit him in half.
And the druid is around somewhere too, yes? Or is she off with Osokai somewhere?
No, she is here.
Okay.
She and Osokai are both here as well. I was going to get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
But both Zuana, the wood elf with her sharpened druid staff, and Osokai, the now reconstituted and not dead Osokai, are here as well.
All right. Is there any place to take cover out here other than just the trees?
Well, you certainly can take cover in the trees. You could go back down in the crater. It is no longer exploding. You could try to go down there, but it wouldn't really provide you much cover. You'd be more like fish in a barrel.
Right.
And there are the two remaining huts. Neither of them seem to be very large, but certainly one, possibly two of you, certainly like the smaller of the two, like Penson and Tix, could take cover in one of them.
Okay, how far is the tree line from us?
It's not very far. It's about 50 feet.
Okay.
So you could make it about 2 rounds.
Well, at a run, we should make it in 1 round because running doubles our movement speed.
I take that back. Yes,
Okay.
y'all all have at least 20 to 30, so you would be able to make it. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea. Let's run for the trees before we get blasted from the sky.
The interesting thing is that the hag is doesn't seem terribly interested in you. I mean, she noticed when you shot the crossbow bolt at you. She seemed almost bored. When you run, she does not try to stop you. Are you going to run, like, say, towards where Pharaoh came out, or are you going to run in the other direction?
Let's go the other direction, considering that's where the shark people are coming from.
Oh yeah, we can get can we make like a check to hide and maybe like kill the shark, like get a surprise round on the sharkmen?
Oh, you certainly can try to hide, especially in the forest.
Do we use like is there a sneaky skill? Doesn't appear to be.
Well, I think just hiding behind a tree is it's a tree.
Okay, just checking.
So it's not necessarily something you need to roll for. Just partial cover, or at least or complete cover. But
are these big trees? Can they give full cover?
See, this is a very dense forest. It's very jungly. It clearly gets like a whole bunch of rain here, and the weather is very temperate. I mentioned that it was the sun was coming up. As y'all are running for the forest, you see a couple of things. One is Spree runs after y'all. You don't know if to attack, or she doesn't appear to be aggressive, but she's running in your direction. The other thing is you see the hag raise herself higher up into the air, and she's gesturing with the staff as if she's doing some kind of conjuration. You can't tell if it doesn't appear to be towards y'all, but it certainly, you can't assume anything good.
Okay.
Can't assume anything good is coming from anything here. This is not a friendly island.
Yeah.
Well, you did hear someone call it the Island of Death, so
So there's that. Yeah. So let's get into the undergrowth and hunker down and take a better assessment of the situation here.
You'll find a fairly decent little area that you can kind of, where the trees are pretty dense together, and it forms a kind of an arch that you can hide underneath. You feel like you'd be pretty well covered from, just someone walking by. She kind of ducks in behind you, and then she kind of pauses, like waiting for you to, because whereas he kind of smacked her, Spree comes in behind you, and she just looks miserable, and there are just tears straining down her face.
I'm not gonna smack her again, but I'm not happy.
I'm gonna say something. Listen, Spree, I realize she's probably holding your skin hostage. I can't hold this against you, but do you know anything about what they're planning, or what she's planning with this thing?
I do. I want to try to help if I can. I can't. I couldn't stand against her when she gave me a direct command. But she hasn't. She doesn't even seem to care about me anymore now that she has the staff. I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly what she has planned. You hear a sound, and the sound is you heard it before. Poor Tix was buried in it when a giant wave comes crashing over the water. Just this massive wave. You would say it's probably about a half mile from the shore to the center of the island. And of course, you're further elevated up where you are. But you can actually probably even just catch a glimpse of this wave coming down. She says, she's summoning the Kraken. And you just hear this coming from the sea.
Yikes.
I'm not
I
about
put my
this.
hands at my halberd.
You wonder about those big waves that you've been experiencing throughout the last few adventures that have been messing with the boats. She says, the plan was always this. They rule this island, and as it suits them, they raid ships that come through the sand swallow seas. They don't take them all, or no one would come, but they pick the lot, the best of the lot, and they take them. But the one thing that they cannot rule is the Kraken. The Kraken does as it pleases, as I'm sure you can imagine. She believes that with the Staff of Seraphim and using the magics of the Buhag, she is going to turn the Kraken into her undead minion.
Oh.
And then she will have an undead Kraken at her command and rule the sand swallow seas and all the lands around it.
So we kind of need to let her kill the Kraken and then kill her before she raises the Kraken from the dead.
Wait, let me say that in character voice. I just wanted to punch a big squid, but that That's probably smarter. Nerd.
All of you, I mean, certainly y'all can make various checks as time goes on, but no one here needs to know how much trouble a kraken is.
Yeah.
They are just well known throughout all mythologies that they are enormous creatures that are virtually unstoppable, and that, as you put, they are essentially gigantic squid, octopus type creatures. Just smash ships accidentally and take down things like whales and huge monsters as their prey.
All right, now Spree, do you know where the blue hag is? The boo hag.
Well, the one that you killed was the sea hag.
Ah, okay. That's what I thought.
And just to clarify, I was saying boo as in, ah! The boo hag, if you understand correctly from Zuana, is actually on your ship. She was captured on your ship and is chained up on top of the ship. And it was in the process of fighting her that Osokai was actually killed.
Gotcha.
As you're all ducking down in the bush, Osokai, you turn and you notice that behind you is Brumio and Tuntun. What do you say, Osokai, who has been here the whole time?
Wink, wink.
To Brumio and Tuntun, who have also been here the whole time?
Right.
Nothing.
Well, there's not much to say. There's not much to say.
What, no Brumio, oh Brumio?
Beautiful forbidden love we've all been waiting for.
No, because he's right in front of me. There's no need to ask wherefore he art.
That's true.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. And in fact, you do actually see Rubio and Tuntun are pretty close. They're pretty close. Anyway, just saying. So to sum up, you're hiding in a bush. There's a bunch of shark people coming up. Hag, who has the most powerful object in the material plane, and there's all of you. The current plan, if I understand it right, is to try and wait till she kills the Kraken, and then try to take the staff from her before she is able to turn it into an undead.
Right.
Do I have the right of it?
Well,
My plan.
Spree said that she needs the boo hag to make this happen. So maybe if we eliminate the boo hag somehow, we can prevent the process.
That is possible. This boo hag is on the ship y'all's ship where Osokai was killed. The problem is you're not on there. You do have a raven who can possibly deliver a message or some other way if you have one. Y'all don't really have any way to tell the people on that ship to kill her.
Right.
And it is theoretically possible that you could row all the way there before this happens, but you kind of doubt that you'd make it in time.
Yeah, plus the giant waves and all. Yeah.
There's also you'd also be going out into a sea where it's infested with both sharkmen and the Kraken. Let me know what y'all would like to do, and we will make it happen.
Oh boy, we now have a lot of options here. There's a flying hag that we can't reach and holding a giant staff of ultra power, and there's another hag that's out on sea. Golly, I find myself wondering about these huts and what their point is, because they're so small. It doesn't seem like they would actually live in them. Mm-hmm. One wonders whether they are some form of transportation, like magical, like transportation for them from one place onto this place.
Would you make a Arcana check for me?
I will do that.
If we run into a smiling man with a bow tie, I'm out of it also.
Ooh, I rolled an adjusted 19 on that.
Okay.
It's better than what I rolled.
You do actually remember a story about a hag who lived in a hut that walked around.
I was right.
And you do remember that one of the huts, the process of elimination would make you believe that it was actually the moss hags, the one who has the staff, had, I said, very organic legs.
Right.
Or stilts. So, maybe?
Maybe. Oh, and it might be bigger on the inside, too.
Oh.
It's worth a look. It's certainly better than hiding in a bush waiting to get exploded.
So it's entirely possible.
All right. Well, no time like the present. If nobody minds, I'm going to go check it out real quick. Does anybody want to come along?
I'll go along with you, Benton.
Why not?
All right. Longest legs in the group will come with me at a running speed. There we go.
So, Tix and Penton, you run off, and Zuana turns to you, Osokai. This is She hasn't really had a chance to do anything before now, and she says, I am quite pleased you are not dead.
Osukai is still a little shaken, recovering. He somewhat forgetfully, I guess, he's not in full control of his responses just yet. Or there could just be some part of him that thinks this would be funny, but he kind of just reaches out and pats Zuana on the head and then says nothing and returns to peek out the bushes.
Zuana is not a person given to laughter, but you do see a smile crack on her face. Morezi, you notice that your lizard is kind of scrabbling about in the dirt.
Can I make some kind of check to see what Aki is looking at? Perhaps even at a modifier? 6. Not even a 9, a 6.
All you can see is that he seems to have found the hole of a vole, like some sort of burrowing creature. And
I'm sticking my hand in it.
Okay.
My finger.
Go ahead and make it just a quick dexterity roll for me with your dexterity bonus.
Oh, that was a much better roll. That's a modified 19.
Modified 19, just almost casually, and even Osokai, who is quite skilled with survival and living in nature, is kind of impressed that you just come up and just almost casually your hand just goes shoo, and then shoo comes back out, and the little vole is squeak 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 squeak, and you hold it out in front of Aki, who had just immediately and just nap 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 nap.
I'm glad we had this scene because we hadn't talked about whether or not I've been feeding Aki, and I was getting a little worried.
Well, I assure you that Osokai can let you know that Aki has been eating the rats and mice on the boat. So there is that. So we're cutting back to Pinson and Tix as you make your way to the edge of the jungle. You can see that the moss hag has lifted herself up higher. She's very high up in the sky, well out of either spell or crossbow range. And she's waving the staff around. And you can see these just big, just continuous rolls of water, of waves coming towards the island. You would not want to be anywhere near the edge of the island. And you can also see those two huts. The one that's closest to you is the Sea Hag's hut. The one that's further away is presumably the Moss Hag's hut.
Okay, whichever one has the legs.
That would be the Moss Hag's
okay.
hut.
Yeah, so we'll head in that direction.
Okay. Who would like to go in first?
Oh, me. Definitely me.
No, let the person with armor go first.
Oh, all right.
You start to go in, and Tix is like, and you make your way up. And as you go up, you do notice that the legs of the hut are absolutely, they have a reptilian look to them. And you think that they may be legs. It is.
Maybe I can tame that, too.
Maybe you can. The door is not locked, and you open it, and you're immediately greeted with a sickly sweet smell. It's not a horrible smell. It's just like the smell of like overpowering incense, possibly like rotting logs, which is not entirely unpleasant, but is not fantastic either. Whoever said that earlier as a joke was right. It is larger on the inside.
Yes.
Well, I want to investigate the hut and see what's inside here. And that is a 14.
There is a lot of stuff in here. There is a chest in the corner, by the way. That certainly catches your eye as an adventurer. You also see several odd things in the hut. You see what, for lack of a better term, like some kind of skull that's like set in like a wood obelisk. There's like a dirty window looking out over where the skull is. So those are the major things that you notice when you come in. And Pinson, I assume you're coming in after him?
Yes.
You see all of that too.
All right. Is it dark in there? Is it lit?
It is just lit by the sunlight coming through. There's a few like very dirty windows.
It is lit, fam.
Osokai dies again.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. It was great playing with you. Bye.
That's right. And bye.
And he won't be here on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
So, what would y'all like to do?
Pinton, would you take a look at the skull in the corner and see if it has any magical properties for that we need to destroy that would be a source of power for her? And I'm going to open up this chest over here.
All right. Sounds good.
Make an Arcana check for me.
All right. That would be a 15.
So, it is definitely magical.
Okay.
You cannot tell, just by looking at it, what the magic is. It is very powerful magic. You do not think it's like touch it and you die magic, though you cannot say for certain. But it definitely does something.
Well,
it creates some kind of action.
I feel like now is a good time to turn on some detect magic, so I'll cast my detect magic, and that will give me at least a type of magic that it does.
Where you're making one thing another thing.
That'd be transmutation. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Transmutation.
Turning a body into a undead body.
That's probably more necromancy, I would imagine.
The hut that you think was the Boo Hags was the one that Osokai pushed into the crater.
Right.
If you're guessing right, and you think you are, because there's only 3 of them, you do know which one was the Sea Hag, because she came out of it, and it was covered in seashells and everything. So you think this is the Moss Hags, so you don't think it's necromancy.
Yeah.
But there's one other thing, is there's something vaguely, you can see something inside the skull, like through the various holes that you could just kind of barely make out. It is lit in here, but it's kind of dimly lit.
I'll turn on my personal glow
Okay.
to help see a little better.
Tix, as you're about to open this chest, and there's just like this "oh" from behind you, just lighting up the arc. What you can see is that inside the skull, there is a brain.
Oh, hello.
There's a brain inside that skull.
Oh, okay.
Unfriendly.
Monkey brains?
You have no idea.
Tasty.
Chilled
It's-
monkey brains.
The only thing is that the skull is vaguely, perhaps avian or possibly dragon-like.
Okay.
You don't know, you know kind of dragons a little bit more.
Yeah.
You kind of think this isn't a dragon, but you're not 100%.
Okay, somewhere between avian and dragonoid. Okay, let's go for it. Hello, skull. Anyone in there?
Nothing happens when you just talk to it.
Okay.
And as you're talking to it, Tix, you raise up the chest. It is not trapped, fortunately, or at least as far as you can tell so far.
Oh, good. I hate it when I die.
Inside, you see 2 different things. Chest, you realize, is actually in the shape of a rowboat, which is kind of cool. It is filled with silver coins. You think perhaps as much as 150 gold worth of silver coins. You don't know if this lady just likes silver coins or what, but that's the only kind of coin that's in here.
1,500 silver pieces.
Yes, 1,500 silver pieces, exactly. The other thing you see are 4 very, very fancy formal dresses. Really, really nice. That would clearly be valuable if you went and sold them. Now, they would not be worth as much as the silver coins. There's that. And the final thing you see is a stone symbol. And the symbol is that of a carved eye.
Oh, that could be important.
I'll take the stone symbol and examine it for, do a religion check. That is 16.
There are several gods who use an eye as their symbol. You don't think this is the symbol of a god particularly. You could just be wrong. You might not have rolled high enough. You heard tell once. Hag has the ability, particularly if they form a coven, to create a eye that they can give to someone else, and basically they can use to spy on people.
Interesting.
You don't know if this, because this is just like a vague story you heard once, so you have no idea how this works. You don't know if this is the thing that they give to them, or if this is like what empowers her to do that. But you kind of think that's what that is. Pinton, what else would you like to do?
Well, I want to glance around. I have my detect magic going on. I'd like to glance around the room, see what else we can find in there that's of note, or something that controls the hut. If I'm assuming it walks, if it has legs, so it's got to be moved somehow.
Joystick, steering wheel.
Well, when he holds up the stone eye, it is very, very magical.
Okay.
But it is actually dwarfed in magic by that skull.
Okay. Maybe the skull controls the hut.
Stick your fingers in the eye sockets.
That seems rude. I It was just sitting there on a ledge. It was hanging up.
No, it's like, I probably explained it poorly. Imagine pedestal, like a wooden pedestal coming out of the ground.
Okay.
Coming out of the floor of the hut. And it's like, it's all carved, all fancy-like, to house the skull. And so the skull is like resting in the, thing.
Okay. Is there any kind of like markings on the skull that like hint how it operates?
There are markings on it, but you can't tell what they are other than they are clearly magical.
Okay. I'm going to try putting the skull back on the...
Well, now, just I want to clarify something.
Yes.
You had actually told me that you've touched the skull.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, let's try picking it up.
Okay. You go to pick up the skull because I was listening very carefully for that. As soon as you touch it, like you haven't even removed it yet. As soon as you touch it, the ground beneath you begins to shake. And we're going to go back to Osokai.
Oh, boy.
And Merezi. You can hear the sounds of several shark men coming through the woods. Are y'all going to try to be quiet?
Yeah.
And just let them go by?
I like killing shark men, but if I stay quiet, I'll get a surprise opportunity attack. So yes.
Okay. Well, just let me know if you're just letting them go by or if you're going to try to ambush them.
Can I make a perception check to see how many of them?
Yes.
That's a critical one, so by the rules of the game, I die. I stab myself in the eye and die.
You're leaning out to look out and you poke yourself in the eye with one of the branches and you're just like, ah! But fortunately that wasn't to hide, so don't worry about that. So you're not quite sure how many are coming. More than one is the only thing you can say for sure.
No more than two.
Yes, two. No more than two. That's a great Dragonlance reference. Extra experience points for that.
Yeah.
Several things happen all at once. One, do y'all remember me telling you that Brumio had a necklace that he told would keep him from drowning?
Vaguely, yes.
Brumio had a necklace that he claimed it was like a lump of coral, and he claimed that he bought it from an old woman who sounded very familiar to someone that Tix once met, is what he told you, that this lump of coral would keep him from drowning. And that's why he wore it around his neck.
Where is my piece of rope?
It is with you. You've got it on your belt or in your backpack, and it served you quite well because you used it to tie up Punchy McBeardface. I'm assuming you took it back when you put him in the jail.
Yes, my lucky piece of rope.
Yeah, you've got it with you. It's come in really handy. You've almost gotten your money's worth. You notice, Osokai, because Merezi is busy getting poked in the eye by a branch, that the coral around his neck blinks and opens, and around his neck is an eye.
It's the spy eye, I bet. I assume.
That is very, very likely. And you see also Tun turning and looking at it and starting to make like a, huh? Osokai, do you remember mentioning earlier that you weren't quite yourself yet?
Mm-hmm.
You suddenly really don't feel like yourself. Out of your stomach comes you, human you, and stabs you in the belly.
Rude.
And he rolls a 24.
Whoa.
Fortunately, he is stabbing you with a knife and not with his sword.
Or a shark.
So the damage is not as high as it might be. That is 5 points of damage. And and Merezi, you have turned around because you started to hear like the sound Tun was making, like when the eye opened. And you turned around just as literally the other self of Osokai comes out of his stomach. There's like magical energy flowing between the two of them. He lets out a primal scream, stabs you in your own stomach, and then kind of does a weird flip out of you. He lands at a 3-point hero land, looks up at you, and snarls, and he says, "What do you do when a bear has you cornered? You play dead." And I'm going to need everyone to roll for initiative.
Let's kill Osokai.
Okay, everybody.
Osokai.
The DM's drugs have kicked in.
Including Pinton and Tix?
Yes, if you would.
Okay.
I'd say 22 for Osokai.
Ooh.
I'm 14.
15 for me.
A natural 1 for Tix.
Oh.
1 for Tix and a 15 for Penton.
Yes.
Human Osokai turns to you, Osokai, and says, "Now I will be free." And that ends Chafing Armor, episode 32. Y'all ready for this?
I don't know. I'm in
No.
two minds about it.
I'm pretty tired.
No. That was a side splitter.
Nah, we're gonna get to that battle quickly, and we will roll with you soon.